Hi guys, so I just wanted to come on here and let you know where I've been at. I know it's been a really long time since I uploaded, but I promise I do not forget about this channel. And I've still been on my health journey, even though it's been not what I thought it would be. It's a little bit harder. I was really Okay, so let's just go through. So I started this journey last year in September. I started because I had just gotten up last year being 2021, September 2021. And I started it because I got up to 240 pounds, and that was just devastating. Because in 2017, my highest weight was 298 pounds. And in 2018, I lost 100 pounds. My lowest weight was 195 at the end of 2018. 2019 was good at the end, but at the end of 2020, I quit nicotine. And that really, I just started binge eating. It was like I always wanted something in my mouth. So I just was binge eating and um, I ended up gaining. So I was at like 190. I didn't stay at 195. I kind of went back up to about 205 to 210 in that range, kind of depending on the day. But then I suddenly like gained, all the way up to 240 pounds from December of 2020 until September 2021. I gained about 30 pounds. And like I said, it was devastating to see 240 on the scale again after having already lost 100 pounds. So I knew that I had to make a change. So in September and October of 2021, I did that and I was doing really great. But sometime in October, I kind of started slowing down. The motivation started slowing down, and I just fell off track. And I was just kind of eating what I didn't go back to like the horrible like eating ice cream every day, eating pretty much only sugary foods. I never did go back to that, but I did stop counting calories and I kind of just did whatever I wanted. But then December 8th, 2021, my husband had a heart attack. So what happened was we have a hot tub. So we were outside in the morning in the hot tub, like 5 a.m. Or no, I think it was 6 a.m. We were out there for a while though, about an hour. And so one thing about hot tubs is when you're in them, like your vessels get bigger. So what we think happened is that, while in there, his vessels widened and a piece of a clot, or a whole clot, whatever, broke off and went to the valve in his heart. It was the same valve that already had a stent. This is a second heart attack. So it broke off and went to his heart. And then once he got out of the hot tub and cooled down and his vessels shrank again, they shrank down back around that clot. And then that's what caused heart attack. But anyway, so we were in the hot tub. We got out of the hot tub and we were just laying in bed. I was on my phone doing whatever, probably reading something. And he was laying next to me, not on his phone, which he usually likes to play Sudoku or solitaire on his phone if I'm on my phone. But he was just laying there, which I thought was weird. And then all of a sudden he hit his chest really hard, like that, like really hard. And and I looked over and I was like, "Did you just hit your chest?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden he was like, it like went from 0 to 60 real fast. Like he just all of a sudden was like in excruciating pain. And I was like, do I need to call 911? Are you having a heart attack? And he like was like, yes, call 911. So I called them. They did not even like take me seriously or believe me. It was a little bit ridiculous. We live in a very rural town, but our town does have a fire and rescue. I mean, we have a big fire station, so we have people who are capable of helping. And then I think I don't think they have an ambulance, though. I think it's fire and rescue truck. But the town that's literally 7 minutes away, it's not that far. They do have an ambulance service. There's a hospital there, a small hospital, but there is a hospital there. I'm pointing this way because that's the direction the town is. Anyways, of course, you can't see that. So, but she was just like, the 911 lady was just like not really taking it seriously, I don't think. And although I had to drag him off of the bed, and this made me want to start like weightlifting, because I used to be able to pick him up. Like when I lost that 100 pounds right after, I was very strong, but I couldn't I couldn't pick him up off the bed, so I kind of like dragged him into the living room just in case I had to give him CPR. But it took 15 minutes for the ambulance to show up. The town that I live in, the fire and rescue, was sitting out in front of our house for like 5 minutes waiting on the other ambulance instead of coming in to help. Like how ridiculous is that? Anyways, so it was just very scary. Like we literally went from having a great morning, like hanging out, like great time in the hot tub, it was a good morning, to I thought he was gonna die. He was talking about dying. Like while he's having the heart attack, obviously he was in excruciating pain. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't realize that I was there. He literally was like completely out of it. But he was preparing to die. And if you've never seen someone preparing to die, like they think they're gonna die, there is a good possibility that they will die in the next few minutes. That is scary. And that really changes everything. And for me, it did. Like I'm like trying not to cry, because it was really scary. It was intense. They ended up taking him, and because they were going to be doing so many things in the ambulance, they wouldn't let me ride in the ambulance, so I had to drive behind him. I didn't know like if he was dead or alive. I had to get there. I had to wait for 20 minutes before they even told me if he was alive. I had to wait in the waiting room of the cath lab. But luckily, he was able to get right into surgery as soon as they brought him in, and they put a stent inside of the stent that he already had, and then they put in another stent and put him on a bunch of medicines, some statins, and something to regulate his heartbeat, and some other stuff. I don't know. Baby aspirin. Obviously, he was already taking the baby aspirin. He wasn't taking anything else, which, he should have been, since he already had one heart attack, but whatever. It's too late now. He already had the second heart attack. But, so after that, I went from 200, because I had gotten back up to like 235. And after September and October, and that like November, December, because it was the holidays and I was eating whatever I wanted. And well, okay, it was Thanksgiving, I guess. But so after, because December 8th was when he had his heart attack, so it wasn't like Christmas time yet. So after he had his heart attack, though, well, when he had it, I was probably back up to 235. So after he had it, we really worked hard on changing our diet, adding in more fruits and veggies, taking out carbs, eliminating fatty foods. We try not to go out to eat anymore. And I went from 235 to 210 by about the second week of February, which is great. I was on a roll. I was feeling great. I was actually looking into fasting, because I know that fasting can really help sugar addictions and binge eating addictions. And I wanted to do kind of like start with smaller fasts and work up to like longer fasts, like water fasts. Just not like all the time, but like once a month or something, fast, like, and also kind of a religious thing. But anyway, so I was thinking about starting to do that. And then one night I was laying in bed, we were cuddling, and I was about to fall asleep, and I felt a baby kick me. And she kicked me so hard that like my hand was like resting on my stomach, like lightly resting on it. And she kicked me so hard that my hand came up off of my stomach. Like, I mean, not like a lot, but a little bit. And I was surprised. And my husband was like almost asleep. And I was like, I think something inside of me is kicking me. And he like didn't believe me. He was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm serious. I think there's a baby inside of me. And then the next morning, so I've been pregnant a lot. This is my 9th pregnancy, and I only have one other living child, my 7-year-old. So I have a couple of those like at home Dopplers, like because just to give me peace of mind, even though all the other pregnancies ended up ending. I've had miscarriages from 6 weeks all the way up to in like an infant loss at 21 weeks. And I had a miscarriage at 18 weeks, but he was born alive, so I kind of count that as a more of an infant loss. Like it, that's devastating. But anyways, so and that's probably what contributes to my eating habits. I've had trauma in my life, but we'll get to that eventually. I want to eventually go over like my alcoholism and all that stuff, like my trauma and everything and what's happened in my life, just to get it out there to help other people. So definitely drop a comment. Let me know if that's something you're interested in, is seeing like how, like, what my life is like up into my alcoholism. How did that happen and what did that look like during it? My times in jail and all of that. Let me know. Um, but anyway, so I got out the at-home Doppler and I immediately found her heartbeat. Like immediately, it was strong, it was clear. It's like 150 beats per minute. So I called my OB. I didn't know how pregnant I was at the time. I found out later that at that point I was 18 weeks. But I was not able to get into the OB until 21 weeks. And so when I did get in, my first appointment was my anatomy scan. We found out we were having a girl at that time, and everything. She looked great despite me losing weight during the whole time. But I will say, like, I really wasn't cutting calories. I just more changed what I ate. I wasn't eating fried and fatty foods anymore. I wasn't eating like refined carbs. I was trying to eat more fruits and vegetables. So she was fine. Now, then it was at 30 weeks, they thought that, okay, yeah, because they said that I was 21 weeks at the anatomy scan. So then when I would have been 30 weeks, they did another one and they found that she was a little bit smaller. She was like measuring 27 weeks instead of 30. So then the next week, so I would have been 31 weeks, they had me go to the maternal fetal medicine, which is like the next higher up from the OB, like higher level for people who are high risk. And they just determined that they think that the dates are off, and I was actually, instead of 31 weeks, I was only 30 weeks, and she had grown, so they thought, they probably just caught her right before a growth spurt, and then she had the growth spurt, and then she was fine. They did another ultrasound like 3 weeks later, I think, or 2 weeks later, and she was totally fine. She was on track for the adjusted, they changed my due date by a week. So my due date was supposed to be originally July 12th. They changed it to July 18th. Okay. I was for sure, because with my son, I had a cerclage, which is a stitch to hold your cervix closed, and I had progesterone shots because they thought I was going to lose him if I didn't do that. I mean, I've lost so many babies. Like that's what they thought that I needed to do. But with her, I didn't have a cerclage. I didn't do progesterone shots. I didn't do anything. I took a prenatal and that was it. I took it easy. Like I wasn't like doing crazy things. I wasn't lifting anything more than like 5 pounds. But so I thought I was going to have her early. I don't know why, but I just thought 4th of July. I'm going to have her the 4th of July. That did not happen. I ended up having her by planned C-section on July 26th. I really wanted to do a VBAC, but it just didn't happen. She would not come out. And as we found out after, like during the C-section, she had a bruise across her forehead from where she was stuck on my pelvic bone. I'm not sure that she would have ever came out. So thank goodness for modern medicine, and that I was able to have the C-section. So it was my second C-section. But it went well. The healing process kind of sucked, but, so I was July 26th. And now she's here. I'll get a little sneak peek. Oh, she's sleeping. Sleep, baby. She's adorable. So she's 10 weeks old now. But so, during my pregnancy, obviously, I was not restricting. But I also fell back into really bad habits. I was like, I just fell back into bad habits, like, so I was just eating whatever I wanted, basically. Like, I was just wasn't paying attention. I was using it at the pregnancy as an excuse to be like, well, I can eat whatever I want because I'm pregnant and it doesn't matter. I was eating Chinese food, fried foods again. I wasn't eating my vegetables. Like, I was hardly eating. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I know, Mama being loud. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I just wasn't eating well at all. So when I ended the pregnancy, I was back to 245. What? Okay, hold on. So I was all the way back up to 245 pounds. And then after I had her, I was healing from a C-section, and I didn't really have much of a choice a lot of times just to eat like pre-made packaged foods. We were eating a lot of that because I couldn't stand for longer than like 30 seconds. For the first like month, it was torture just to get out of bed and go to the bathroom. Like, and I did try to walk around every day, obviously, like they say you're supposed to. Like, the next day after the C-section, I was up out of the bed, I was walking around, because I knew that walking around would help me heal faster. And I do think that it did. I think after about 5 weeks, I felt mostly healed. Compared to with my son, I really didn't walk around. I mean, it hurt, so I tried not to move as much as possible, but that actually made it worse. I didn't feel fully healed with him after having him for about 12 weeks. So 5 or 6 weeks compared to 12 weeks is pretty good. But, so after I had her, I like immediately lost, within like the first week, I lost about 20 pounds. So I went down about 225. But then, I was also like binging on like sweet foods. Like I started like, yeah, binge eating again, like snack foods, sweet foods, desserts, stuff like that. Dairy, which I'm lactose intolerant. I'm not even supposed to be having that. But that's just what I was craving. I was craving so much food. So then a couple weeks ago, so since I had her and since I started breastfeeding her, she's been exclusively breastfed this whole time. Three of my teeth have broken, like, and they had filling, so that's probably partially why. But I take care of my teeth. I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss, rinse. So there's no reason my teeth should be breaking, even though there's fillings in them. Like, I don't like use my teeth to open things or anything weird. And these are molars that are breaking. So I just determined, like, I started like tracking my food. This is like probably like 3 weeks ago now. Excuse me. I'm so tired, guys. I get like 2 hours of sleep a night right now. But so I determined after tracking my food that I was not getting nearly enough of the nutrients I needed. I was eating calories, but hardly any nutrients because of what I was eating. I wasn't getting hardly any protein, like no calcium, especially since about 2 weeks ago, I started trying to go dairy free because I thought that, that was affecting her, and it was affecting her, and it was a good idea. So now I'm completely dairy free, no dairy. Like, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can take a lactase pill and still have it, but she has a dairy protein intolerance, so I can't have it at all now, and because breastfeeding. So I got a calcium supplement. I've been taking a multivitamin, calcium and magnesium supplement, along with taking another just general multivitamin with omega-3. And then I got these like omega-3 chewables and these, it's called Juice Plus. I don't know how well it'll work, but worth a shot, I guess, because I know I'm definitely not getting enough fruits and vegetables. So I got the Juice Plus chewables. But I've also been like, not necessarily trying to go low carb, not necessarily, I'm trying to cut out all like fatty foods, like fried foods, like chips, just the very obviously bad things, cookies. But a lot of that I can't have anyways because of the dairy thing, so it doesn't really matter. I'm very motivated to cut out dairy because I don't want to stop breastfeeding. I really enjoy it. And if I if I didn't cut out the dairy, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. She was really starting to get fussy. Anyway, so since I've been, and I've also been trying, so I have this app called Finch. I'll put my friend code down below if you are interested. It's just an app that helps you like track your goals and makes it a little more fun, kind of like a game rather than just a to-do list. So that's nice. But so with that, I've been trying to just get, my goal is just 10 minutes of exercise a day. And I've been sticking to that, but a lot of times I do an hour. I've been doing like the Grow with Joe inside like walking workouts. Those are nice. Or I've just been walking. We have a jogging stroller for her. So I just like briskly walk for like 2 miles a day right now. Hoping to increase that soon, but anyway, so since I have been implementing those things for like the last 3 weeks, just basic changes, I've just been trying to get in more fiber, more protein, more calcium, and getting all the nutrients that I need and the macros, I guess. Protein, carbs, fats, like I've been doing like 40% protein, 40% fat, and then 20% carbs is what I'm trying to do. And I went from, after I had her, about 3 weeks ago, I topped back out again at about 240 again. And so now today I was 224.6. So I'm back down again, and I'm just trying to like lose like a pound, maybe 2 a week. No more than that. Like if it takes me a year, if it takes me 2 years, whatever. Like as long as the scale is going down and not back up, I am okay with that. So I really want to like share, my journey with you guys, maybe weekly updates for how I'm feeling. Another big thing is I instead of weight loss goal, I want to do fitness goals. I want to build more muscle because throughout the past like couple years of I was working out really hard at the through 2018 and even 2019. I was working out a lot. 2019 I was running and doing the stair stepper. In 2018, the way I lost the weight was doing stairs. But since I quit nicotine, I'm just in 2020. I just haven't had the energy for that. Like nicotine is a really good motivator, and I can't have caffeine because I'm an alcoholic. But I don't drink anymore. I've been sober for 4 years now, since October 2nd, 2018. But I can't have caffeine because my too much gene is too strong. If I have 1 cup, I have to have the whole pot. And that, I just can't do that, especially with breastfeeding now. But even in the past, I just cut out the caffeine because I just couldn't have it. It was like if I had one, I had to have a bunch. Just anything else. I am definitely an addict. My brain is an addict brain. The only reason that I was never addicted to the hard drugs is because I never did them. If I did them, I know that I would be addicted to them. Luckily I didn't. Anyway, so that's where I'm at now. That's my update. Down at 224.6. I'm going to be doing weekly updates. Maybe some shorts in between just to, say hey. I stay at home now, so I have a whole lot of time on my hands. If someone else is going through this, I would like to be a motivator for them maybe, even though, it might take forever. It might take a year, it might take 2 years to get to a good weight. That's okay. I would really rather build muscle. That is really my goal. Getting enough protein, enough healthy fats, cutting out the obvious junk so I don't want to have a heart attack, so cutting out the junk for that reason, just not to have a heart attack. And yeah, build muscle up, which I need the protein to do that, and stay dairy free just because I have to right now. But I don't know, I want to too, because I want to breastfeed. So I say I have to, but I do want to. I am motivated to stay dairy free. There's been today I made banana muffins from a mix for my son, but it's got milk in it, and I almost ate one, but I consciously stopped myself and put it back instead of eating it. And I think that's a step in the right direction at least. So anyways, well, thank you for listening to me ramble. And I hope we'll see you here next week. All right, bye.